Hey there, it's Leslie at Leslie's Cookies and Treats, and today I'm working on the second bow in a 6 bow series. So this one has a cute little penguin royal icing transfer in the center, and you can make a cute royal icing transfer of just about anything to put in the center. And so I'm just going to show you how I did that. For this bow, I'm going to be using 3 main colors, black, red, and white, and all of my icings are about a 15-second consistency. So with this bow cookie cutter, you can use it so that there's 2 bows. So this is the loop in the back. There's a bow in the background and then a bow in the foreground, and the black color is the bow in the background. So you see that little bit peeking out on the side, and then the top loops. And I'm going to let those dry while I move down to the tails, and I'll outline and flood those in with a white royal icing in a 15-second consistency. And I always use my scribe when I'm done flooding to settle the icing down, to pry up any air bubbles, and to smooth the icing out and get it out to the points. It helps have a nice smooth finish to my icing, and if you see any bumps that don't settle down on their own, then they're not going to settle down as they're drying either. So I set this cookie aside to dry for about 25 minutes, and now I'm going to go back and flood in the main part of the bow with a red royal icing. This icing is also in about a 15-second consistency. And because my icing is a thicker consistency, I can go all the way to the edge without worrying about it overflowing. If your icing is a looser consistency flood, I would go close to the edge and use your scribe to move it out to the edge. I'm just going to outline and flood the other side over here, repeat the process. And then I'll set the cookie aside to dry while I pipe the penguin transfers. So I found an image of a penguin on Canva, and I printed it out in several different sizes because I wasn't sure what size I was going to need, and I decided just to do the small ones at the bottom here. So I'm using black royal icing in about a 15 to 20-second consistency, and I'm just going to fill in the top part of his head and use my scribe to settle the icing down and to shape it a little bit. I'm going to immediately flood in his face with white royal icing, and then I'm actually going to let him dry and do his eyes with an edible marker. I tried doing his eyes with a wet on wet effect, and I didn't like the results with the icing, so I'm going to actually color those in with a marker. So I let these royal icing transfers dry overnight, and now they're completely dry, and I'm just going to use an edible marker to color in the eyes, and then I'll go ahead and add in a beak. And then I'll let them dry again before I take them off the transfer sheet and plop them into the middle of my bow. And while the transfers are drying, I'm going to outline and flood in another layer of this bow on top to give it some depth and dimension. So I'm just outlining the red bow loop, and I'm going to flood that in. And I'm going to leave a little part at the bottom showing so it looks like the back side or the loop of the bow. And I'll do this for both sides, and then I'll let it dry again. So I let my bow loops dry for a little while, and then I went back with my red icing and outlined the bow loops and added some creases in the center, and I just flooded in that middle section that was missing, and I'm just going to stick my penguin right on top of that. And this cute little bow is done. There's so many ways you could do this, and here are the rest of the bows in the set. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you'll join me for the rest of the bows. Please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. Thank you. See you next time.